Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I want to get rolling very quickly. I apologize, we're running a little bit late. But you know, we had to eat. Hi, my name is Ben Blacker. For those of you who don't know, I'm the creator and host of a podcast called The Writers Panel. Are you familiar with it at all? Okay, good. Shh. Good, I'm glad about that. I'm also a television writer myself, having written for programs such as Supernatural, Puss in Boots, and Cassius and Clay, and that's it. Let's get going. Please welcome Phil Rosenthal.
It's a long way.
Welcome. Good morning. It's a long way around. Good to see you. Please sit.
Okay. First thing, I didn't get a taco. That's right. I like to engender pity. First thing.
You're an underdog.
That's second to lowering people's expectations. Pity.
Now, Phil, I told you I had a plan here for us today because you've been on the podcast a couple of times. We've talked. We're not at that portion yet.
This is what happens when I don't eat.
Someone get this man a taco. Do you?
I don't want to take your taco.
Ask for something else.
Who has chocolate? What's your name? Michelle. Michelle? I love you, Michelle.
Your greed has served us well. Thank you.
This says tricky.
I don't know what it is.
Is it all right?
I
Where were these from again? Do we know? They are from Taco Deli. I'm sorry, say it again? All right, don't fight.
You take your time. I'll vamp.
Did you get?
I'm fine. I can't. Here's the thing. I can't eat in the morning. I know.
I don't have that problem.
It's weird, right?
This is good.
Where have you eaten here that you've enjoyed this
First
the
stop
past
was
couple days?
Torchy's. First
I heard.
right
Wait.
off the plate.
First stop. He didn't stop at the hotel.
No.
You got in the car that picked you up and said, "Take us to Torchy's."
These people understand.
Pick up your mic.
Right. All right. Pick this up.
Yeah.
That we have our priorities, right? You get to a place, and if you're hungry, you go to the place that's famous for, that the place is famous for. And then yesterday, now I'm going to make you. I'm going to engender whatever the opposite of pity is. I think it's hate. I went with Norman Lear yesterday. That's right. To Franklin's. Mm-hmm. And they were waiting for him, not me, Norman Lear.
Really?
There is a secret thing. There's an Airstream trailer that I think is their office that is air conditioned. And in the back of the trailer is where, if it was your, trailer home, there would be a table with two couchettes on either side. So Norman and I sit there, and they bring us all of Franklin's. I got to do that yesterday. I put a picture of it on my Twitter to make the world hate me.
I think you need to understand. I think you do understand how special that is. I heard a story the other night from a friend of mine who's on a television show that is appearing here at ATX. The whole cast is here. And they asked their network if the network would call Franklin's and put aside a table for them so they could come. And Franklin's laughed at the network. But when it's Norman Lear...
When it's Norman Lear, they wouldn't let him pay.
That's lovely. Sure.
Aaron Front, they said, this is from Aaron Franklin. They said this from Aaron Franklin.
That's incredible.
So you gotta
That's
love
really
them.
nice.
That's fantastic. And you know, it's that place is really worth the wait. I mean, just
Yeah.
the turkey.
You would
I
think it's
understand
turkey,
that,
right?
Yes. I put a picture of that on my Instagram because you don't have turkey breast like turkey breast is boring and dry. This is the juiciest, smokiest, most delicious. Doesn't even need sauce. It doesn't need any. It was so fantastic.
All right, my plan for today was to take you through an 8-course meal with Phil Rosenthal. This has been our amuse-bouche. Of course, now
This is just making me hungrier. By
your
the way.
palate has
I
been
hope,
wet.
What else is in your little bag?
Are your proverbial juices flowing at this point? I think we have one more piece to the amuse, which is a clip from your show. I'll have what Phil's having. Just a little taste. Have you guys seen the show? This might be the only clip we need to show.
Whatever you want. I'm ready for you.
Can you show the number 19 clip, please?
You didn't get to the sandwich. Is the best part. I love that so much. That to me is all of life, right in that clip, because it's. Look, I believe not to get heavy, but that we connect over food. I think you all know this. Since we're cave people coming out of you and I killed a wild boar in the bush, we would eat it together because we killed it. It's ours. We have to eat, and so we would bond over that as we have for centuries, thousands of years. And then for me, I found in my 50-some-odd years of life that the deeper connection, the way we choose our friends, is our sense of humor, connecting over these laughs. I believe that we choose our friends that way. I'll go one step further. I think it's who we marry. Because I don't have to tell you other married people here that a lot of other things fade away. And so we're left with our common sense of humor, or at least the appreciation of each other's sense of humor. So for me, the show is that. The show is really getting you to travel, to get you off the couch to come and travel with food and hopefully humor as the way in.
Now, you've got, in this first season that we saw on PBS last year, you got to visit some pretty exciting places. Some places you had been, some places you had not been.
Right.
Right? Oh, by the way, this is the second course. We're only on the second course. The second course is something light, like a soup.
Okay.
Big on flavor, not too filling. Remember that when you answer.
Okay. I thought soup was coming.
Tell me about your philosophy of travel. It's fun to watch you visit these places where you either fit in or you are completely out of place. It's fun both ways.
Hey.
But what's your approach to visiting new countries, new people, new cuisines?
I think I'm a regular person in that I'm afraid of everything. And I like what I like what I know, I like what I'm comfortable with. And it does take a bit of a leap of faith and a bit of effort, and not everything works out. They can lose your luggage. You can wind up in a place that's suddenly having a heat wave and there is no air conditioning, and you have to, make do. And a lot of people would rather say it's not worth the trouble. But I'm here to say it is worth the trouble. That there's no more mind-expanding thing we can do in life than travel. It really isn't a food show. It's a travel show.
Well, it isn't really a travel show either.
I guess.
It's a show about, but it's a show about people. It's about you connecting.
Yes.
It's people connecting with people.
Because
through
that's
you.
the best part of travel, is
Agreed.
meeting the other people. Wouldn't the world be a better place if we all could experience a little bit of someone else's experience? That's the point.
Absolutely. How many of you are not local to Austin? How many of you do not live here? By round of applause. So most of you. Now, what can these people do to experience Austin?
They're doing it. Look, they came to a thing. They came to a festival. They came to see something that's not. You don't see me every day. And you get to have a breakfast taco, which probably you don't have it where you are. Or if you do, it probably came from Austin and is now where you. And you're gonna try some of the local barbecue, and you're gonna. That's why we go, to try what this, but if everybody has the same thing, why go anywhere? Absolutely. So you go, and even if they do have, like the breakfast tacos I have in LA, there's a place, very good place called Home State. They're from Texas, and it's still not the same as having it here. No. Having a Guinness at the top of the brewery in Dublin from the main tap that goes into the main keg. By the way, this cold brew, the nitro, kind of reminds me of a Guinness.
It is, right?
Can I have another one?
Or a Guinness.
Or a
either
Guinness,
way.
Yeah.
Listen, let me
When
tell you.
did that start? Like 2
Cold
years
brew?
ago? No, the nitro. I love this. Do you guys like this? Yeah.
They're still eating their tacos.
It's taken over. The nitro.
Phil, our third course is coming.
Okay.
A third course is a pasta or salad option that incorporates some shellfish or
I
cured
see you've
meats.
made a theme out of your
I have.
presentation.
You like it? We'll see where it goes. Something tasty, but not too rich or heavy. So I want to ask you for something tasty, something maybe we didn't see in the first season of the series, something that maybe got cut out, a little tidbit, but that's real juicy.
Okay, so we filmed 8 days to make that hour, which leads to the question, how do you eat so much and not get fat? Well, I'm not, when you see me eating in that segment, that's probably all I ate that day, pretty much. You know, maybe, thank you, dear.
Is that the question you're sick of being asked? How do you eat
No,
so
it's
much?
fine.
without getting
Listen,
fat?
it's a natural question because look at my beautiful body.
Sorry, ladies. He's taken.
Stop laughing now. I work out every day. I have to do something. I worked out before I came here. I did not enjoy it. But you do it, and just to, especially as you get older, the metabolism slows down and everything. And then this is my whole philosophy is pick your spots. Don't be an animal every meal, every day. That's it. We're not children. We don't need to, but there's candy. Yeah, there's always, yeah. And if you're a grown-up and you have any money, you could buy all the candy you want. Don't do it. I would eat chocolate every meal, but I'm an adult now. So I don't do it, so I don't eat French fries at every meal. That's if you were to ask me the one, my enemy, the French fry.
Where have you had great French fries?
Where did we?
Where have you?
They're everywhere.
I know they're everywhere, but
That's why they're the enemy.
there's nothing worse than a bad French fry.
A bad one is, yes, it's from the devil. But
Yeah.
the great ones, well, I mean, you have them here. I'm sure. Where's the
Yeah.
best French fry in Austin? I'll go get it right now. To hell with you people.
I had French fries at Clark's Oyster Bar last night.
Good,
Pretty
right?
incredible. Pretty incredible.
Listen, it's like anything else. If you take this thing, this is if you were to ask me what was my favorite kind of food, I think the ultimate, I think for all of us, it's maybe why we like Franklin so much, because it takes this food that we know so well. Mm-hmm. We've all had barbecue, but if you take the thing that you grew up on, the childhood favorite, the thing you know very, very, and you elevate it to it being the best of that you ever had, that's the ultimate. So when you have the best French fry, the best hot dog, the best hamburger, the best pizza, right? The best rib, things we know, that's what's outstanding. So in every episode, I think I'm actually trying to find the best of the thing. That's one little running, excuse me, thing in the show is, if I want you to come and travel, why go to Tokyo, let's say, and not try to find the best ramen in Tokyo, the best sushi in Tokyo? Then I've done a public service.
That's it. All right, I'm going to move on.
Did I answer any part of your question?
No, but it's okay. You're showing us a good time.
Okay.
Do you want another taco?
No, that would be.
We have some more here.
Give it to the people.
He says, give it to the people.
How many do you have?
You know what? How many do you have? This is not good
4.
television.
Good. Throw them in the center
Wait-
and let
wait a
them
minute.
fight like animals.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. No, I'm gonna give them to whoever asked a good question.
Okay. Do you want me to just put them on?
Yeah, we'll just put them out here.
Oh, good. We take questions from the people I like.
Yeah, well, that's the dessert course. I have a thing I'm doing.
4 tacos and some napkins.
Listen, we're gonna. When are we here until
Maybe
noon?
I don't care about the people.
Do we have until noon? Is that what we're doing?
I'm here all day. I've got
All right.
nothing.
The fourth course is a nice piece of fish cooked to perfection. Now, to me, the Italy episode
Yes.
of I'll Have What Phil's Having
Yes.
was perfection.
Thank you.
And I think the thing that made it that is the personal story.
Yes, and
that
the
went on
reason we like that one the best, the reason I like it the best, is because of that personal story, and yet you can't have that every time. Because the point is, I'm not making anything up. So that happened naturally. It was this thing,
Can you just remind them?
Yes,
what
if you
the
make
episode was?
documentaries, you hope when you turn the camera on that something happens, right? In Hong Kong, I ate the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth, a 1,000-year-old egg. It's not really 1,000 years old, it just tastes that way. And so cameras were rolling when that really happened. I had no idea what. Well, in Italy, 30 years ago, I met friends on a train overnight from Paris to Florence. I had no money at all. I was staying in third class, I guess, where, I don't know if you've done this in a train, but there's these overnight sleepers where there's a couchette on each side of the little train car. Then the back of the couchette is also padded. That folds up like this and forming another place for a body in this slave ship to sleep, and then one on top of that. So there's 6 people. So I lucked out because there was only 4 of us, my roommate and me, and then this couple who were dating, this lovely couple. She worked in the family bakery, and he worked as an artisan, you know.
An Italian couple.
Yes,
not
Italian.
tourists.
And they were just going to Paris on vacation. They'd saved up everything. We were all in our early 20s. And we stayed up late drinking from the car. It was my first trip to Europe. I was 23. And it was magical to talk to these people in their broken English and my horrible Italian. And they were drawing in my little journal where I should go. And when I look at it now, it's the Duomo. You know, it's the most famous thing. You can't miss it if you go. This would be good to see. Yes, okay. But they also gave me the address of the bakery where she worked, and so I went. First day, and there's the family, and they treated me like a king just because I came from America, 1983. They sat me down, they gave me some of everything the bakery makes. People from down the street were coming because their boy from America was here. A lady came with a steaming bowl of pasta. Someone else came with soup. Someone else came with meat. I couldn't believe it. So how do you not love these people? And we stayed, and I would visit them, and they even came to New York. The whole family and their parents stayed in my one-bedroom apartment in Washington Heights in New York. It was a bit much. And then, you know, they got married. They had kids, and then we moved to L.A. And that was kind of, you know, the end after. And I didn't see them for 27 years. And before doing the show, I thought, you know, it would be nice to contact them since we're going back. I couldn't reach them. I couldn't find them.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
No, it wasn't until my wife found an old letter with an address where they had moved,
Wow.
and it was a surprise.
Oh, it's beautiful. And it's such a moving episode. It's such a moving scene to watch when you're all reunited and the generations are meeting each other.
Yeah. So I filmed that, I guess, 2 summers ago now, and last summer went back and visited with them again.
That's great.
And I'm going to go in a few weeks and visit them again.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How do you manufacture that for a second season? You can fake it, right?
You can't fake anything. I mean, I think the people know. So I don't want to fake anything.
Absolutely.
Life is good.
Let's talk the fifth course. Where are we? The fifth course is the business of the meal. We're getting into some meat, some chicken, fowl, veal, or pork. So I want to talk about the nuts and bolts of making a show.
You're mixing metaphors.
Am I? Yeah. This explains my staffing season. Can you tell us how the show is put together? What's involved? How do you choose the cities, the countries?
That's a good question.
What's done on the production end?
Okay.
Because it's a lot to put together.
It is.
My wife wants to know about the budget too.
It's like a show. we did it very cheaply because
It's like a show, but there are no standing sets.
Right. The world is the set.
Yeah.
It's PBS, so that's not money. That's very little. They let me use whichever production company I wanted. So first thought, if you were going to do a travel show, maybe you'd think of who else has done a good one and use that production company. So I thought of Anthony Bourdain, who I used to watch as a little boy. They're the best people in the world, so they said yes. And so I got them. So when you get them, not only do you get them, but Bourdain, that show's been going for 16, 17 years, so they have contacts all over the world. So virtually any place you want to get into, they can really help you get in there. So I do research. Look, we all have the internet. Same way you research to go on any vacation you would go on. For me, it's where am I going to eat? That's just, if I didn't have a show, that's what I'm doing. I'm planning my trip around where I'm going to eat first. Then I worry about, there's the David is there? Okay, we'll see that.
I'm unaware, is there another way to travel?
Yeah, and then hotel and then whatever. And so they vet everything for me. They'll get me in with the lady who makes the gelato at my favorite gelato store. But I'm saying my favorite gelato, before we even go, if I know the place, my favorite gelato is this place. Do you think we could do a segment where we see how they make that? And they arrange it. Mm-hmm. Now, if there's a place I don't know, they make suggestions. Here's a thing. You have to go on a boat to an island to have this thing. We can arrange that. It's like having magic fairies arrange your life. So
this is what it's like being talent. You know that?
It's so much better than the other.
Isn't it?
But, very, very little is written.
Right.
You start to, I'm looking for these little things that we can have like benchmarks in the episode, like, what is that town famous for? Let's find the best. And also, you might ask how we pick the city itself. Well, it all goes back to thinking about what is the show about? What is the show's purpose? The purpose is to get you to travel. So if we're just starting, if 2/3 of Americans don't have a passport, this is true, including everyone who came to America with a passport, right? So if I want to get you to travel, why not start with Earth's greatest hits? That's why you saw Paris, Florence, Barcelona, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Los Angeles. These are places everybody would like to go. And maybe if you have traveled, you enjoy seeing it. And if you haven't, have a look. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So now, if we're lucky enough, and the deal's not done yet, if I'm lucky enough to do more, I already know what the next bunch will be. But it will, there's a lot of hits. There's a lot of hits.
It's a great big world.
It's a great big world.
And you want to eat it all.
Somebody's got to eat it. So I'm not worried about running out of locations.
How long are you in each location?
8 days.
Okay.
8 days.
Well, that's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
So that's for someone traveling.
There is stuff, obviously. We can't put everything in. Right. And sometimes it's a perfectly good segment. It just either is slightly redundant or not quite in fitting in with what our little theme of that episode is. Mm-hmm. Off the top of my head, there was a scene in Tokyo where this guy makes incredible coffee. And we all love coffee. We all love, it's a big thing now in the world. And this guy, he makes an espresso that's maybe 8 drops of coffee in the cup. I mean, drops. I mean, it barely coats the bottom of an espresso, so it's thick like syrup. And it was extraordinary, in a tiny, tiny shop in Tokyo. Tokyo's, who's been to Tokyo?
A few people.
It's the most food-centric place on earth. Every other door is either a restaurant or a place selling you food. They're so into it. And the culture is so beautiful that, if you buy a stick of gum at a pharmacy, they wrap it for you like it's for your 100th birthday.
We're at the portion of the meal where we have a palate cleanser. That's usually a tart sorbet that serves as a chance to take a little break.
You've worked on this.
I know. Yeah, I have nothing else to do.
I love it.
This is time to take a break from all that eating, maybe loosen a button or two. Not an official part of the meal. So I'd like to show, if we could, the egg cream clip, please.
So I got to go to the Today Show and promote the show, and I'm sitting with the nice group, Al Roker, Tamron, and Willie, and they had me bring out some gelato. We all tasted gelato, and then they brought out that. And I showed that clip first just to warn my friends at the Today Show, this is what happened when I ate it. And Tamron picks it up and takes a big bite of it. I said, that's too big a bite. And she goes, I kind of like it. Now, I'm telling you, when you bite into that, the first thing you taste is very, very, very rotten egg. This is then supplanted in your mouth by this overpowering tsunami of ammonia. It's kind of good. You might like my mother's cooking.
We come to the 6th course, our second main course. It's the time for
You
the...
should show the egg cream, because that's my favorite scene in the
We'll get
whole
to it.
series.
But
Do
it
you
might be
have
mine
it?
too. We do have it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We'll get to it. You don't want to show a clip and then a clip.
No, I do whatever you say, Ben.
I want to hear about, this is the heaviest course. This is where we really get into it. What didn't you get to do in this first season of the show? What would you change about this first season?
The host.
Can you be critical? Can you be critical about this
Get
first
somebody
season?
good-looking in there.
No one else would. I don't want to see Channing Tatum eat that
Sure you do,
century-old egg.
ladies.
I want to see you eat it.
What would I change? You know, I did different iterations of this show in little forms that you never saw, and I'm glad I did. As frustrating as the process was, and I worked with people that we were not compatible. Like, for instance, I had a producer on one. I did a week for American Express where I went with a very famous chef to London, and they filmed the whole thing. And I thought it would turn out to be something like this, but it didn't, because this producer was very into getting the shots of food. And so for him, the priority was the shots of food. And so he booked us into 27 restaurants in 7 days. That's more than breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And he wanted them all to be fancy white tablecloth places. So I was dying. And it took the thing I love and made it this thing I dreaded. You never want to be in a position where you're at a meal and here comes this thing we worked on for 3 days, and you go, oh, shit. I can't anymore. So I learned how to do it. Mm-hmm. I learned how to do it, and I learned what I wanted the show to be. So what you're seeing is actually the show I want.
That's great.
So that's very nice.
That's really
and I think if
exciting.
I get to do more, it'll be more like that. But I'm open to suggestion.
That's such a rare thing. I mean, look, you've worked in network TV for a long time. You don't always get to make the thing that you want.
Tell me about it. But this is actually the culmination of a few things. Everything I learned about making a television show, because some of the tenets are exactly the same. You're telling a little story. There is an answer to the question, what is this about? Which I think you wouldn't be surprised to know that a lot of TV, a lot of movies, a lot of books, a lot of everything don't answer that question. What is it about? You know, I go to the movies and I see some CGI craziness, and I go, what the hell is this? But then I realize it's not for me, it's for China. They're making these movies for China.
China and children.
Somebody told me the other day, don't make a movie unless you're selling a toy.
I'd get a Phil Rosenthal action figure. Comes with French fries.
You put it in, like a bank. So there's that, and then, so yes, the professional side of me is satisfied. I'm making a television show the way I like to make one, and these things are made in the editing, really, right? How you're putting it together. There's even comic timing that I learned from working in comedy, to not that we manufactured anything, but we know when to cut to make you laugh.
Yeah.
That's thought about.
Does it feel, when you're in the editing room, and I assume you're there for all the edits, you're
Yes.
through the whole process, does it feel like being in a writer's room, or does it feel like writing a script? Does it have that same writing feel?
It is writing. Editing is writing.
Yeah.
It's the final draft, really, right? And what you don't show is as important as what you do show. I mean, it's a beautiful, it's an art form unto itself. And I have wonderful editors who work on all these other great food and travel shows, and they know. But there's obviously a tonal difference from my show to Mr. Bourdain's show. You know, I don't know if you've heard my line about that. I'm exactly like Anthony Bourdain if he was afraid of everything. So I love that process. I love every part of it. And the other thing I was going to say is not only is it the culmination of what I've learned in the business, it's the culmination of what I love in life. Family, friends, food, travel, humor, these are the things that to me make life worth living. Right? So they're there.
You should applaud for that. The seventh course is the cheese course. Now there's a lot of cheese on TV. There's a lot of, and we can talk about food shows specifically because I would actually love to hear your opinion on this. You do like Bourdain's show.
Love. He's a superhero. I watch his show and I go, he's amazing. I'm never doing that.
What other food shows do you like, either now or growing up?
I don't watch a lot because a lot of them take food and make it the subject of something else. What do I mean?
Like
to me,
travel?
food is it's not a competition. Mm-hmm. I don't care about how fast you can make a dish using parsley, soap, and a refrigerator box. Who gives a shit? I want to eat something good. And yes, I understand there's we marvel at the creativity. I don't care. The other thing is, I don't want a show where this person can eat more than a human being. I don't care. It's not, you've taken the thing. By the way, we in pitching this show around, I actually always wanted it to be at PBS because I thought, first of all, I would be the kid at PBS. That turned out to be true. And secondly, I thought they would leave me alone. Thought. So we go to the Travel Channel. I don't want to disparage anybody, and this guy's not there anymore. But the head of the Travel Channel, when my agency wanted me to pitch at these places because there's more money in it for them. Head of the Travel Channel says, yeah, we've done a lot of research. We found our audience doesn't really like travel.
So you took it?
I said, oh my. What are you going to do? They said, well, we do a thing, it's travel adjacent. Our shows are travel adjacent. Well, what the hell does that mean? Well, we have a show called Pimp My RV. What's that? We take an RV. We don't go anywhere. But we show you how we pimped it. Okay, good luck to you. And on my way out the door, he says, oh, and our other research shows that the only food people are interested in is barbecue. Okay. So I go to the elevators with my agents, and I say, can we go to PBS now? And they go, no, got to go to Food Network. I said, but do you know they're owned by the same company? Go to the Food Network. My hand to God, you're going to think I'm making this up. Head of the Food Network. We're kind of getting away from the food thing. We're doing a kind of food adjacent show. To use the same word. What's adjacent to food? The napkin? What do you mean?
Pimp my hot dog.
Right. Everything is either a competition show or a grotesque. And on my way out the door, by the way, the only food people are interested in is. So finally I got to PBS, and they had seen Exporting Raymond. They had seen the documentary I made about taking the. They saw that, and they said, we like the idea of you going places. I said, so does my wife. And they said, do you have any ideas? I said, yes, I do. And I pitched this. And they said, we've been looking for a food and travel show with humor for years. So sometimes you're in the right place at the right time. And that's finally how it happened. Did that answer anything like your question either?
No. Let's get to dessert. Something rich, heavy, and decadent. We're going to take questions from these guys.
I love that.
But first, I want to show that egg cream clip. Is there an audience mic, by the way? Yes. Okay, I'm going to walk around with that like Phil Donahue.
Yo, you're going to like that. Yeah. I hope you get groped.
You and me both. All right, let's get some questions from you guys. Who has a question? Yes, right here. Stand up. I'm going to get all in the way. I'll hold.
Okay, thank you. Could you talk about your production crew? I know you said you use a different company, but do you take your own crew with you?
We take it's very bare bones. So you bring your two lead cameramen and maybe a director, and almost everyone else is hired locally.
All right, other questions? Yes.
When does season 2 premiere, and will you do an episode with your parents because they're hilarious?
I don't care for them, but it's nice. I'm glad that you like them. Do you have room in your house, by the way? I love them. They are the stars of the show. They get recognized on the streets of New York. It's hilarious. My dad just turned 90. And so we finished filming a year and a half ago or something. And I was like, let's go. Dad's 90. and it's the same corporate baloney world exists at PBS as everywhere else. And so just now we're starting to make the deals. I can't really answer your question. I don't know exactly. If I was to bet, it might be next May when you would see more episodes. Okay? But yes, they will, as long as they're able, they will be in every episode because, again, as a writer, you're looking for these touchstones in each episode that make. Every show is about a family. So I literally have family in the show, and I thought it was a nice kind of, it takes the place of the postcard that we all send when we travel. So now here's the modern day equivalent. I love, by the way, I say, you want to hear what I ate today? And my mom says, not really.
What do they think about, I mean, you've always traveled, you've always wanted to have experiences like this. What's their take on it? Do they think you're crazy?
No, they thought it was nothing. They thought they said, my mom will say, so what are you working on? I said, I'm really working on this food and travel show. Yes, but what are you writing? What are you doing? No, this is important to me. I think this is my next thing. It feels important to me. Yes, but Philip, I mean, you just going place and eating is not living. That's not I'll be okay, Ma.
Right here. Yeah, I was just wondering if they made you aware that when Kanye West went to Franklin's, they made him go to the end of the line.
That seems right.
Pretty good.
Have you ever thought of developing an I'll Have What Phil's Having app where people can type in their location and see your specific recommendations for a popular...
Because usually, oh yeah. I'll tell you, this actually happens. When I am traveling, and I do a bit of traveling as well, no big deal. I don't bring a camera crew with me. But I will get in touch with Phil and say, I'm going to this city, what do I need to eat? And I know you have dozens of people who do this for you.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
We all are good at something, right? I thought I was good for nothing. I really, we travel. I'm going to this place, they've served, that restaurant's been in the family for hundreds of years, generations. What do I have to offer these people? Turns out a chocolate egg cream. We all have a thing. Yeah. I can show you something, now I feel valuable. So, I love when people call or write me. The best phone call I ever got was somebody said, I'm on the Ponte Vecchio in Florence, where should I eat? And I actually could say, are you walking towards or away from the Duomo? And I knew where to send the person, depending on what direction they were, because I've been there before, and because I value that. That's my thing. To answer your question about the app, thought of it immediately, actually, as we were doing the show. And if you go to pbs.org, is it the best website in the world? No. But if you go and click on episodes, you'll see, by the way, every episode is free and streaming there, in addition to being on Netflix now. I made sure every place we ate is listed and address, phone number. So you can go where we went.
Great.
But yes, I do want that app. I do want I don't know who's in charge.
All right, we have time for a couple more questions. Anyone have a question? No, I'm not coming up there. Do you want a taco? No. All right. Oh, here. Yeah. Oh, hi.
Who is it?
Stand up.
Who is it?
Have a taco.
Oh, I'm good. Give it to somebody else. Give it to the girl that gave it. Oh, she.
Do you have like a go-to? Is it really word of mouth from friends? Because I have a trip coming up. I'm going overseas. Do you go to like a certain magazine or website to like look at where you're going to go, or you just do you have a resource that you go to a lot that's your favorite?
There's this device that you have, and I go on that, and I'm not trying to be glib. It's everything. There's so many websites, so many places. So just Google the place. Best restaurants in Venice. Here comes article after article, website after website. And what I do is cross-reference. Mm-hmm. Don't just take one opinion, because it really is just usually one guy's opinion. But when you start to see the same one coming up again and again, you go, maybe that's worth checking out, right? And of course, if somebody's been, word of mouth like everything else, your trusted friend telling you about a TV show or a movie, that's what counts more than anything.
Since you've been all over, and I'm guessing that they're flying all over, have you ever had like trouble getting to places or been like, been stuck somewhere or anything?
Just the usual, like everybody. You get to, first trip for the show, the first place we went was Barcelona, and the airline, I fell asleep with my glasses on, and when I woke up, my glasses were gone. And they literally took apart my seat looking for the glasses, and they couldn't find them. So I had the whole first week, the whole first episode, I didn't have my glasses. So that was a tragedy.
It's these thrilling tales of travel. Why we tune in.
Bourdain would say, well, the alligator got in my room, and I had to beat it to death.
Now, a meal ends with petit fours and coffee. Just some sweet nibbles.
We done with the people?
We're done with the people.
Okay.
They have no more questions.
That's
of you,
fine.
But they can find you on Twitter. The petit fours and coffee are sort of a thank you and good night from the chef. So the way I like to end is to ask you what you are watching on television these days. What's getting you excited or inspired, or have you seen any movies lately? I know you watch a lot of movies that you've really enjoyed. That you
we
want to
watched
recommend?
Casablanca.
I know.
I have a big screen, and we put that. I love to have movie night, and people come over and we eat pizza and we watch a movie on a pretty big screen, and we watch Casablanca, and we were just enraptured in a way that you're not anymore. Yeah. You forget. Well, yes, we all say, well, Casablanca, of course, but until you see it big the way it was presented 75 years ago, you don't realize the impact of these things. I'm trying to get my daughter, who's going to USC Film School, I'm trying to get her to have a frame of reference. So she was fighting me on this old black and white movie. She didn't want to see it, and I said, well, you take my seat. You could say, I want you to see it. So she did. I walk in to check on her. She's asleep.
Really?
Later that night, I walk into the kitchen. She's in the kitchen. She's awake. She's watching the Kardashians. So I shot her.
Phil Rosenthal, everyone.